guys, thanks for being here. It's really amazing to be here in Kiev. I'm having a lot of fun, so let me walk you through my story, how we managed to get 2 million paid downloads at a very low cost. This is the agenda for today. I'm going to start with introduction. I'm going to introduce the app. I'm going to mention the results, and then we're going to deep dive into the how. Then we're going to end with the future. So I'm Romanian. I live in Amsterdam, actually. For the past 2 years, I've been working for Philips, and last year I joined Pregnancy Plus. I'm doing paid user acquisition. We are a team of 2, and we're trying to make the app as big as possible. This is Pregnancy Plus. It helps women through their pregnancy, one of their most beautiful journeys in their life. You can see your baby in 3D. You can see you have different features which you can interact with. You can compare the baby with the size of an animal, for example. You can compare the baby with the size of a fruit, and this feature is helping users stay engaged. But the main part of the app is the actual content. We have a lot of content. We have guides, we have articles on what to exercise, what to eat, what to avoid, what should you pack for the hospital bag. We have everything. We also have content for dads, because 10% of our audience is actually dads. We also have an inspiration platform where you can choose between different names or get inspired to choose a good name for a kid. Very interesting stats. Every 4 seconds, a new mom joins our app, so pretty big. 28 million downloads so far. We're live in 22 different languages. We have 5.1 monthly active users, and at least 1 million users open and use the app every single day. This is how the 1,000-day user journey looks like for us. So I'm there in the paid part, and most of the traffic comes from organic, about 65%. We direct users to Pregnancy Plus because they're most engaged in this period. They, of course, they have different questions that they want to answer, and we have those answers. Then, after the baby is born, moms and dads, of course, can switch to Baby Plus, and Baby Plus also helps parents in a new journey. You can use Baby Plus from the first day when the baby is born till 24 months, so 2 years. That's why we have a 1,000-day user journey. So how is Philips involved, actually? Well, Philips is a very large electronics company. It produces different products. It's active in the medical space, and we produce MRI machines. We are also active in other consumer brands, so more B2C. We produce hair dryers, vacuum cleaners, air purifiers, toothbrushes, electric toothbrushes. But the part I really want to focus on is this part. We have a business unit called Mother and Childcare, and we produce breast pumps, we produce suitors, and we produce video monitors for the baby. And baby bottles as well. So, of course, Philips has different channels, and Philips tries to sell these products and to offer them to consumers via search campaigns, via social, B2B with the MRI machines. But the idea behind acquiring Baby Plus and Pregnancy Plus, because these 2 apps have been acquired 2 years ago, was to have a direct-to-consumer channel where Philips can interact, of course, with users and bring more users closer to the products. You can imagine users are going to, of course, buy a breast pump, a baby bottle, because they need it. But in the end, the mom or dad also needs to buy other relevant products for them. They want to get an electric toothbrush, so that's why we take advantage of cross-selling. Let's go back to Pregnancy Plus, and let's go back to acquisition, to paid acquisition. So far this year, we've done actually more than 2 million paid downloads. We are live in 38 different countries, in 4 ad networks. We have more than 200,000 paid downloads in key Philips markets, and we have a cost per install of 32 cents. So you might ask yourself, is this high, is this low? Well, I'm just going to give you some benchmarks. On average, to get a user on board in the US to download your app usually costs $2.5. We do this for less than $1. In Germany, to get a user to download your app, it's about 1.7. We do this for 40 cents. The goal for this year was to get 1.5 million paid downloads. I think by the end of the year, we're going to reach 3 million. So the question that I want to answer today is, how did we manage to get a 32-cent CPI? Well, these are the answers. I'm going to first start with the prerequisites. This is very, very important. I'm going to mention a few things about the user, the channels that we use, the structure that we follow. I'm going to deep dive into data flow, very important. I'm going to mention how we create dashboards and how we do optimization. We have an optimization framework. So, prerequisites. First, have a highly rated app. Of course, having a 4.8 and 4.7 on App Store and Google Play really, really helps us a lot. We do have many ratings there as well. Just imagine if a user goes to the store and then he sees or she sees a 3 rating, of course, the probability of her downloading the app is going to be lower. So this really, really helped our team to have amazing results. Second thing, we really prioritize localization. So even before the app has been acquired by Philips, the team tried to localize in as many languages as possible. And localization is not about translating from one language to another. It's also being relevant in the market. So the app in English, let's say, is going to be different than the app in Turkish. In addition, you can also see that there are different baby models. You can choose a baby, an Arabic baby, or a different type of baby based on the region where I'm from. Third thing, of course, we have an acquisition budget. And yes, we do have some money, so it's easy for us to get users. But even if you don't have a huge acquisition budget, the more you invest in paid, the more you're going to increase organic. We saw this correlation. So let me recap this for a bit. A, have a highly rated app. B, prioritize localization. And C, of course, have an acquisition budget. Second thing, know your user. For us, I think we're privileged because the user is searching for answers, and we have all the answers. Is searching for answers, and we have all the answers because she's on a new journey, and the app offers content relevant to her. So she's going to be active on Facebook, on Instagram. She's going to search a lot, so we are there for her to support her. 3, channels. Get the channel combination right. So what I mean here, we have 2 different products. We have the iOS app and we have the Android app. We have different networks that we decided to go with, and we have, of course, different markets. So what we found out was that after we did a lot of testing, we found that the Android app in Germany, works really, really, really well via Google Ads, while this doesn't really happen for the Nordics, so for example, for Norway. However, in Norway, what works really well, it's the iOS version of the app via Apple Search. So we have found the right mix. We have understood what we have to, which products go for which markets via which networks after doing a lot of testing. Then naming convention. So yesterday we had a workshop, and apparently many people didn't really use a naming convention. However, this really, really helps us. It's key. And I would say it's mandatory for a campaign level and optional but important on an ad set level and an ad level. Why? A naming convention gives clarity, and it's crucial in data analysis. So you can push the data and then analyze it properly. So I'm going to give you an example on how we do this naming convention. We have different features that we identified as important: the ad platform, the app, OS, operating system, campaign objective, and country. So we have different ad platforms. We have 2 apps, Pregnancy Plus, Baby Plus. We have 2 different OS, so Android and iOS. Campaign objective here, usually for us, it's app installs, but you can also have re-engagement, social boost. And of course, we have different countries. So we have this campaign. It's a Facebook campaign for Pregnancy Plus on iOS. It's an app install campaign, and it's in Brazil. And we have the second one. It's a Pinterest campaign for Pregnancy Plus on Android this time, so on the Android version of the app. It's an install campaign, and it's in Germany. So again, having a clear naming convention really helps us analyze the data and be structured. Fifth thing, very, very important, data flow. So here I'm going to start with attribution, and I'm just going to give you a practical example. So just imagine you run ads on Pinterest, Facebook, and Apple Search in the US, and a user interacts with all of these ads across different ad networks, and in the end, in the same day, she installs the app. Well, what's going to happen? Every single ad network is going to say, well, we actually attribute this install to us. Branch, in this case, so our attribution platform, gives us the reality. So instead of 3 installs, as the ad networks say, we're going to have actually 1 install. So having an attribution system in place is actually crucial. So afterwards, we try to connect the data, and we try to, of course, get the insights. So we get the number of installs from branch. We get the spend from every single campaign across different ad networks. We used Excel at the beginning, and it helped us do our analysis. Then we switched. We tried to automate stuff. So instead of using Excel now, we use Amazon S3, which is a data warehouse. And there, we can connect more data. And after we put all the data in Amazon S3, we try to visualize the data via QuickSight, which is, again, an AWS service. The last thing here is to integrate further. So you always want to answer different questions. So what's the retention rate of Pinterest users compared to the retention rate of Apple search users? Or do Facebook users spend more time in the app than Google Ads, or they spend more money? You always want to answer more questions. The sixth part, it's dashboards. And we use dashboards for 2 different things. One, to report accurately, and second, for optimization, so for internal optimization. Let's start with the first one, with report accurately. As I said to you, we started with Excel. So those are the first iterations of our dashboards. Very simple, very easy to make. But then we decided to switch to live dashboards. So here, as a stakeholder, as a partner, you can access the dashboard whenever you want. You can see the number of installs per country. You can see penetration rates. You can see trends. You can see monthly active users and daily active users. Second thing, we use dashboards for optimization, so trying to get that cost per install down. And we have 2 relevant metrics here, pace and desired CPI, or cost per install. And for pace, let's say if 50% of the year has passed, we also want to spend 50% of the budget. Why? Because we assume pregnancies happen evenly throughout the year. Then we have CPI. As you can see there, I'm trying to highlight, in Germany, there are more campaigns. There are campaigns in Facebook, there are campaigns in search ads. And the search ads campaign has a higher CPI than the Facebook campaign. So we should actually invest more money in Facebook. But then we switch from Excel also to QuickSight, to our live dashboard, where we see everything live there. So everything is popping up. We know exactly where to focus right now without doing manual work, without doing redundant work. Also, on the right, we see which countries have to spend more or spend less. But besides shifting budget from one ad network to another and understanding what works in each country, we also have an optimization framework in place that helps us optimize in the ad network itself. So Ferdinand introduced Grow Tribe. I'm not going to introduce it again. It's an amazing company. They have amazing content, so please follow them. I also use their experimentation framework. And I'm going to give you 2 examples of 2 different experiments. And all these experiments come with a specific outline, so with a specific framework. So first, I'm going to outline the experiment. Second, I'm going to show you the design of the experiment, or how the ad looks like. Third, I'm going to emphasize the results. And fourth, I'm going to show you the backlog, where we save all these experiments. And then we also have the pilot funnel here. And the main thing that we focus on is, of course, acquisition. But we're also trying to run campaigns to improve other metrics that are relevant for different stages, revenue retention, for example. So the first experiment is called the multi-ethnicity video. And basically, we believe that having an asset that emphasizes the multi-ethnicity aspect of our app is going to help us decrease the cost per install. To verify that, we basically create a video asset. The one metric that matters here is the cost per install. The channels that we used are Facebook and Instagram in the US. And we are right if the CPI of the new asset is lower than the CPI of the old asset. This is how the asset looks like. So we emphasize again the fact that we support different ethnicities. We emphasize this in the video itself, but we also emphasize this in the text. These are the results. So on the left, we have a carousel that worked really, really well. On the right, we have a static image. And in the middle, we have our new asset, our new video asset. We got a 93-cent CPI for the carousel. We got the 89-cent CPI for the static image. And we have an 83-cent CPI for the new asset. The interesting thing here is that the more multi-ethnic a nation is, or a country, the better this asset performs. Second experiment is a bit different. We try to improve the average daily in-app time. So we believe that instead of focusing on getting as many users as possible via Google Ads, we shift to actually trying to get users that do specific actions in the app, so lookalike. And to verify that, we change the settings in Google Ads and track average daily in-app time. The one metric that matters here is, again, average daily in-app time. Channels, this is going to be in Google Ads in the US and South Korea. And we are right if the new average daily in-app time is greater than the old one. That's what we did here in Google Ads. Very, very simple. So again, you switch from install volume to actual in-app actions, and then based on how you tag the app and how you send these events back to the ad network, you can choose between different types of events. So there we have complete registrations. And these are the results. First in the US, and then we have them in South Korea. Nothing has changed in the US, actually. And we just increased the average daily in-app time by 8 seconds in South Korea. However, the funny and interesting thing was that we managed to decrease the CPI greatly. So the question is, why? Why did we manage to decrease the CPI? In the end, we didn't achieve our goal, but we managed to get more users into the platform for a lower price. We assume that in Google Ads acts a bit different than Facebook Business Manager, and you don't really have options to target your audience besides selecting the country and the language. But we assume that we gave some indications to Google on which users to focus on. So I think the ads went to the right users. After we run these experiments, again, we try to run as many as possible. We also try to save them. And we use the growth tool from GrowTribe to save these experiments. And we have two different columns. We have a win column and a fail column. And this is good to basically have ongoing conversations with your stakeholders, to pass knowledge to new team members. And of course, in 2 years, to understand what worked and what did not work. So let's recap everything for a bit. First, have those prerequisites ready. This is really, really critical before doing massive app install campaigns. Second, know your user. Third, understand the channels that you're using. Fourth, have a really clear structure in everything, especially in the experiments, how you name them, and the campaigns. Take care of your data flow and have an attribution system in place. Build relevant dashboards so you can report accurately. Have an optimization framework in place that helps you decrease the cost per install, or the one metric that matters for you. And then you can automate and chill. So I'm also going to touch upon about the future. In 2019, we focused on domain expertise and scale and infrastructure. So we tried to understand how every single ad networks really perform in different countries, and we tried to get our penetration rate higher in key Philips markets. We also tried to understand to what extent we can influence the cost per install across different markets. Second thing, we tried to build a solid infrastructure where we combine marketing data with in-app analytics, and where we can send different custom events back to Facebook and Google Ads so we can do better advertising. In 2020, we want to focus on value and engagement. And value here, while we understand that we spend money and in the end these users are going to give us value, we want to also estimate how much value they're going to bring back. And engagement, besides only focusing on getting new users, we can also re-engage with users that are likely to churn, let's say. So value, the classic problem here, the classic attribution problem in marketing is usually everyone has this one. You might be able to lose track. So I'm going to give you a specific example. For Pregnancy Plus, we do offer native in-app advertisement. So we select our partners. And let's say the user sees an ad on her mobile, and then she switches to desktop. There is a high probability that you lose that track. And same thing, let's say she uses the app, sees an ad, and then she decides to buy in a shop. While we can't really track everything end-to-end, we can still estimate. So this is how we envision everything to look like. We have different campaigns in, let's say, the same country, and we're going to have different value parameters. This can be how much money they spend, or other value parameters that are relevant to us. And we have two important key metrics, the cost per install and, let's say, profit or ROI. So in the first campaign, you see that the cost per install is actually higher than the second campaign, but it actually brings more profit. So we should actually advertise more on Facebook in the Netherlands rather than Apple Search. Second thing here, we have engagement. And as I said, we want to identify users that are still pregnant and are likely to churn or haven't used the app for the past 2 weeks. And we want to get them back to the app via push notifications, via email campaigns. And if it makes sense, we do a paid campaign, because it might be cheaper to acquire a current user than an old one, than a new one, sorry. So I want to end this with a simple, practical question. What can you do now to improve the growth of your product? There are 3 things. 1, if you have an app, focus on those prerequisites. If you don't, build a champion product. Second, try to integrate all the data, try to automate all the redundant tasks, and so you can focus on the important things. And third thing that you can do is have a clear optimization framework that can help you focus on the one metric that matters for you, and of course, grow. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for the last slide and using Ukrainian. That's awesome. Okay. Okay. You were the first, I think, right? Can we have a mic here? Yeah, you were the second. Okay. All right. You can use mine.
Thank you. My name is Roman. I'm wonder. You told that engagement campaign helps you to increase the CPI cost, right? What should be the structure of these campaigns to involve one on other? So should be in the same campaign, just another ad set, or how you need to link this campaign engagement and acquisitions, new ones?
So that's why we have different objectives there. One is app install, one is, let's say, social boost, one re-engagement. So yeah, I would create personally, I would create a new campaign that has a different objective to re-engage all the current users. So this can be done via the naming convention, so you can specify in the campaign. But there are, of course, different possibilities. It depends from campaign to campaign or from objective to objective.
You mean you use the same account, just different campaigns?
I would use a new campaign with different naming, of course. Yeah. But we're still trying to explore this, so I don't have the full answer. Maybe my answer is going to change from today to the next time when I actually do this. You know, we haven't done this yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
I understood. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Name is Bogdan. You've told so much about customer acquisition costs, about A/B testing and so on, but I think many of us want to understand how you return your investments from all those CPIs, like how exactly your application earns money. And also I'm interested, you have few applications, you have several channels, lifetime value differs?
Very, very good question. So our app makes money through different ways, and the most important is, of course, by offering Philips products to consumers. And then we partner up with different partners that offer complementary products to Philips. So we offer something that's very, very relevant to them. And I'm working very, very closely with the data analytics team, so we can build this acquisition model, so we can understand exactly how much money every single channel, every single customer brings back. I don't have the answer right now. That's the plan for 2020, so maybe next year I'm going to present this back to you.
Okay, and like one more. So you have some kind of model to attribute your indirect sales from your applications, because from what I understand, you don't sell products directly because it's like it's a store, not an info application,
Yep.
but like. So you know how to track it, right?
Yes, of course. So with some partners we can track, with some other partners we cannot. So if we cannot track, we can estimate. That's why we have to involve different data sources and to understand and work closely with the data analytics team and understand exactly what are the factors that influence. So I'm going to give you a few. Country is one, OS is one, iOS users spend more. So we have to really try to make a model that makes sense for us and that gives us the answer that's closer to reality. So again, with some partners, we can track everything end-to-end. With some others, we can't. And if we can't, we try to estimate it.
Oh, I see. Thank you.
Hello, Vlad. Thank you for your presentation. My name is Anna. I work in Ask.fm. I have several questions to you. First one, you mentioned you used Pinterest in your acquisition campaign. Can you tell the impact of this source? Second one is you also mentioned you used retargeting campaigns like paid ads. Maybe use some RTB or Criteo campaigns or use some direct AdWords campaign to retarget your users. Also, what kind of service, if you can share it, you use for your push campaigns or maybe some in-app campaigns? And the last one, I think your users live with you for 9 months. Maybe you have some other way to make them retain with you for longer, like for a year, to make some other products selling to them, like, I don't know, the other different type of clothes for their babies when they are one year old.
Let me answer the last question first. So, as I said to you, as I showed you, we have the 1,000-day user journey, and we get users for Pregnancy Plus, and afterwards we try to push them to use Baby Plus, where we offer relevant content to them. So in the end, yeah, we try to retain those users for longer than 1,000 days. First question regarding Pinterest, we started in France, in the US, and the results are pretty good. Jeroen is back there. He's the other guy working on the acquisition team, and he can give you all the answers, so we're going to be around. What was the second question again?
You told about paid ads for reactivating your users and push campaigns. So what kind of ads did you use to retarget?
So for push, you asked me what's the partner. So Philips is working on a deal right now, and I'm not sure if I can disclose it, but yeah, we use the partner for push campaigns. We don't actually have push at the moment. And then what was the second thing?
And paid ads for reactivation.
We did not do reactivation or re-engagement. We're going to do this next year.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And while you are delivering microphone to the back row, you mentioned Jeroen. Can you raise your hand?
There you go.
Yeah, can you stand up?
He's an amazing guy.
Just so everyone knows, this
knows
guy
all the
works
answers.
with Vlad together. They delivered an amazing workshop yesterday. And chase not Vlad only. Chase this guy as well. He knows a lot of stuff. All right. Now the next question.
Hey, my name is Eugene. Thank you for the presentation. It was really interesting to see the paid acquisition on this scale, and it's not a game. So my question is about how do you align with the product team? Because you've mentioned that you are focusing on CPI, but also you've mentioned ROI. So, and it seems to me that you don't have some leverage or impact on ROI inside the product. And how do you align? What the process do you have with the product team? How you say, hey guys, here is installs for 15 cents, but please charge users or increase the revenue from this channel?
Very good question, actually. So usually goes the other way around. The product team helps us create better ads, and usually they work really, really well, so we just try to improve them further. So for example, product team, they created the 3D baby model, so we use that. Second thing, they are doing a lot of experimentation within the app on what works, what text works, what kind of content works. So we kind of steal that content and we apply it in acquisition. We try to do the other way around. It didn't really work out because in the end there are two different environments. Let's say Facebook, for example, and then we have our app. And then what works in Facebook doesn't usually work also in the app.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we have Raphael. Okay. Just one, okay? Not three like last time.
Sure. Thank you, Vlad. My question is, what challenges do you meet while scaling Facebook? Does it marketing automation, or I mean bid management, or scaling creatives, or analytics insights?
Yeah, I think the only challenge is that Facebook is pretty massive, so it takes a lot of time to maintain it. But if you have solid campaigns, I think this can go. It depends also on the spend. If you have crazy spend per day, the results might vary. If you distribute everything evenly throughout the year, yeah, we saw that it really works for us, so it's kind of stable. It really depends. I mean, we can talk afterwards more in detail.
Thanks.
Hi, I'm Lisa. I'm running my startup for designers and developers, and I'm really curious to know what free acquisition channels works for you best, especially at the beginning of the journey, before you had millions of downloads.
Very good question. So yeah, before the app has been acquired by Philips, the team focused. They basically got the name Pregnancy Plus. That's one of the things that really helped them a lot to be found on the stores, on Google Play and on App Store. So ranking on the first place when you're searched, that's the most relevant thing. And the team actually focused a lot on being the first when they're searched. I think that's the only answer that I have, actually.
Yeah, we have a couple of minutes for one more question, if we have one. Yep. Oh, my God.
Then could you please tell why do you use Branch as an attribution platform, or some tools that really helped you through the way?
Yeah. So why we use Branch? We use Branch because Philips made a partnership with them, so that's the simple answer. But if you have to choose between different tools, just do your own research and see what they offer. I think they kind of offer the same service, more or less. And other important tools, let's say, that we really used was AWS for data warehousing and dashboarding. And this really helps us, again, push all the data in one place and draw relevant insights out of there and display them nicely in QuickSight, which is the visualization tool from AWS. We also use Improvado. They take data from one place to another if you don't want to do API calls yourself. I would say these are the most relevant ones. So attribution, AWS with different sorts of tools, data warehousing and visualization, and Improvado for taking data from A to B.
Improvado is kind of like segment storing.
No, it's an ETL tool, extract, transform, load. They take data from Facebook, they push it somewhere. They take data from a specific source, and they push it, let's say, in Amazon S3.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Vlad, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great talk. Thank you.
Thanks.